Hi guys, it's Irina here from RenderCraft Academy and welcome back to another free mini course. In this course, we are going to be creating Bitzer the Dog from Shaun the Sheep famous stop motion series. It is going to be easy for modeling. We will be using all basic modifiers and principles of modeling, and it is going to be well suitable for beginners. So lean back, have fun, and enjoy creating your famous character with Blender. Hey, what's up you guys, and welcome to the Blender's 3.1 splash screen. Now we are going to go to general and start creating Bitzer. So as you can see here, we can see our default cube, default light, and default camera. We are going to press 1 on our keyboard, select it, and delete it with X. I'm now going to add the screencast keys add-on. So here on the left inner corner, you can see the shortcuts that I will be using for this course. So just a second, I'm going to make sure that you can see it clearly. So now, guys, once we are done, I'm going to press N to hide the end panel, and now we can start adding our reference images. I'm going to press Shift A and add a reference. Let's go as a reference and add the front. So here we have the front orthographic view or front part of the model. And now I'm going to press 3 and add the reference and add the side one. So front, side. Let's see, it is right here in the middle and in the middle of the side as well. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this front one, go here to object data properties or the image data properties, and I'm going to go and set the depth to back. So once I add the object in front of this plane, in front of this image, I will see it when I pan around. You can see that it goes right through it. And for the side one, you can see that this image where we put it, it defines like a plane, and it is going to hide the part of the cube here. So you can see that's why we selected and set the depth to back. Now also we want to see the both sides. So when I go to this left side and right side, I can see the both sides here. Also we want to use the perspective on so we can see the images when we pan around the view in perspective mode. Now I'm going to press 1 and go to front orthographic, and I'm going to go here under filter, select this selectable here and disable selecting of these two. So now in the viewport, I will not be able to select these two images, these two references. Now we can start modeling. So the first part that we are going to do is we are going to add a cube as we did before. And now we are going to go here under materials, under modifiers, and then add a subdivision surface modifier, which will allow us to have a sphere instead of a cube. So we are going to subdivide the cube so it should look like a sphere. Now I'm going to shade smooth it and go into the edit mode. Now I am going to turn on this X-ray mode. You can click it here, or you can simply press Alt Z, and if you're working on Mac, Option Z. Okay, so now I'm going to grab it down in Z axis, so GZ, select the top, extrude it once, extrude it twice. Now that I did that, I'm going to scale it all the way inside as well as this one. Now I'm just going to follow the reference image. So now I scaled it in x-axis. When you see when I scale this red axis, or if you can see z-axis or y-axis, it is resembling that I am grabbing or scaling in the particular axis. So if I press SX, it is going to be scaling only in the x-axis. I am going to show you how it looks like. So I'm going to SX, I'm going to scale it in x-axis, and you can see that the y-axis is still the same. And for example, if I only scaled it, it is going to be scaled in x and y-axis. Okay, so once we are done with that, I'm going to be adding one loop cut in the center of the object. So I'm going to add a loop cut by pressing Ctrl R on my keyboard. So that is the shortcut, and I'm going to select the left part of the body and delete it using the X and delete the vertices. Now I have only this part, the right side. I only have it because I just deleted the left part of, in this case, the left part. And I'm now going to add a mirror modifier because our model, our Bitzer model is symmetrized. So I'm going to pull this mirror modifier on top of the subdivision and allow clipping. What I did when I allowed clipping is that I am going to be able to move these vertices only up and down, and they are not going to be divided here. But if I turn it off, you can see that we can split it open, and we don't want that. We only want it to be clipped together. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to move around these vertices and follow the reference image as much as possible. So I'm going to move this one down as well. Let's move this up, and voila. So these two, or these four, they are going to be useful when we are going to add the arm later on. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to press Alt, click here on this edge, and Shift Alt and click on this edge. And one more time, if you're working on Mac, press Option and then click on this edge here, and then Shift Option and select the second one. So Option is Alt for Mac users. Now I'm going to press SY. I'm going to scale it in Y axis. I'm not going to move it a lot. So I'm going to now grab this part here and grab it in Y axis as well. And I'm going to press right click, Loop Tools, Circle. And I'm going to rotate it. If you don't have this add-on, just go here under Edit, Preferences, type down here Loop Tools, and here you will have it. Check this box, save your preferences here, and you will have it when you press right click. Now that we are done with that, I'm just going to pull these two a little bit closer. Let's see how it looks like. Awesome. Once we are done with this, now we are going to be adding the legs. Before we start modeling the legs, we are now going to go to the side and play around with these. So I'm just going to grab the vertices down, scale them in Y-axis, and align them better with the reference image. So I am going to add one here, and then I'm going to scale these down and grab them up so that they create a nice little bump here, like so. And let's grab this one out and just align it with the reference image. I'm also going to do that same thing here with the belly. And voila, let's see how it looks like. Awesome. So guys, now that we are done here, I'm now going to move it in X-axis as well. So GX. Let me just turn on the screencast keys. So here on the left inner corner, you can see the shortcuts. Here I'm going to grab it in X-axis, a little bit outside, inside, inside. Okay guys, here we have the body. It is done right now, and now we are going to apply the mirror modifier in object mode, and let's decrease the number of subdivisions in a viewport and in render to 1 and apply it with Ctrl A, or you can simply go here, click on this arrow drop and add apply. So here we have the model. I'm now going to add one more subdivision, and let's increase the number of subdivisions to 2. Now I'm going to scale it up so it is perfectly aligned with the reference image. You can see here that we need to change this. So I'm just going to scale it in Y-axis. Everything should be now just fine. Awesome. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this left part of the body and delete it. Then I am going to add the mirror modifier, not the mask, the mirror modifier, and pull it on top of the subdivision and allow clipping so that we are not able to move it from the center. Now that we are done with that, I'm going to grab these two vertices and grab them here. These two up here, and we have something that looks like this. Now I'm going to select those vertices, press right click, circle. Now I'm going to rotate this circle a little bit, scale it down and extrude it down. Scale it in Z axis by 0 degrees, so SZ0 to flatten it. Let's add one more loop cut here in the center. Let's grab these vertices down, like so. Let's go to the side. Awesome. So I'm just going to real quick select this face and delete it. Now it's going to be easier for me. Then I'm going to select these and grab them slightly in Y-axis. Now I'm able to scale this part in Y. Let's grab it in X and add one more loop cut here, and I'm also going to flatten that up as I did with the previous ones. So I'm going to grab these vertices and let's align it with the reference image. So you can see now that it goes perfectly with the reference image, as well as here. Let's go now to the side and let's select these two loop cuts, scale them in Y-axis, scale this one, and let's see where we need to put it. Scale this part here, grab it a little bit in Y-axis, like so. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one loop cut here in the center here, and then I'm going to rescale this one in Y-axis so that we have a little bit of a muscle here. So now I'm going to extrude it in Z-axis, scale it in Y, and grab it in Y-axis. Let's see it from the front. I'm going to scale it in X-axis and grab it as well in the same direction in X-axis. Let's grab these. You can see that they follow the reference image. I will pull these here, here as well. Let's go inside. Awesome. Extrude it more down, down, down. These ones I'm going to rescale in Y-axis and pull them in Y-axis as well. You can see this like gray part here, so that means that we don't have the object behind it, so we need to move it in order for it to follow the reference image. Let's go now to the front. Let's rescale this part in X-axis, a little bit only. Rescale it in X, grab it down, and voila. So we are done with the body, with the belly. You can see it here. We can pull it a little bit out as well. Awesome. And voila. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a cube. I'm going to rescale that cube down, grab it in X-axis, and now I'm going to press 7. Then I'm going to go into the X-ray mode, zoom in, select the top part here and extrude it outwards. Then once I extruded it, I'm going to press Shift R. So let's extrude it one more time. Let me show you. So I'm going to extrude it and I'm going to press Shift R. It is going to repeat my last part that I did. Now I'm going to extrude this 2 times, as well as this one, as well as this one. This one is a little bit bigger, so I'm going to rescale it. and then I'm going to add a subdivision surface modifier to it. So you can see how it looks like. I'm going to grab this one and extrude it all the way here. Then I am going to move this one for my thumb. Let's make it smaller. I'm going to make the thumb here. Let's grab it outside. And now once I'm done, here I will have the palm. Then I will select these vertices here, right click, circle. I'm going to rotate that circle so it is right here in the center, like so. I'm going to delete the faces. So I will be left with like hexagon. Hexagon. And now I'm going to extrude it in x-axis, like so. Now that I did that, now I'm going to follow along this part here. So I'm going to make this hand look more like a hand. So I'm going to grab these up. Let's grab the front as well. Now from the bottom, I'm going to select all these vertices and grab them slightly inside. So you can see now it follows the reference. I'm going to also add one more loop cut here and scale it down to create a wrist, like so. And then I am going to be playing around with this one like this. So I'm going to decrease the number of my subdivisions to 1, apply it, and then I'm going to add one more loop cut, like so. But before we did that, I think that I will go here, and I'm not going to change this. I'm just going to rescale it a little bit more. And I'm going to select the tip of my fingers, because Bitz's fingers are short and wide, and that is what we want. So I'm going to select these vertices, grab them in x-axis to move them down a little bit. And now I'm going to select these and rescale them. I'm going to scale. You can see that now it doesn't work. That is because the pivot point is in the medium point, but it needs to be individual origin. So the pivot point will be right here in the middle. You cannot see it, but it is in the middle. So now if I scale it, you can see how it looks like. Okay. I will rescale it a little bit. Let's rescale these. So I'm going to rescale them up. They are going to look different from this reference. Now let's grab this point in the x-axis. Now I'm going to select the thumb and rescale it in z-axis. So it's actually going to look like this. Now we can simply move these vertices and make it look more of a hand. I'm going to grab the fingers. Let's grab them outside here. So this is going to be the hand. And now I'm going to go here and apply the subdivision surface modifier, and I'm going to increase it only to 1. Then I will add one more. You can see now the middle of the fingers. And now I am going to select these vertices, and I'm going to use the proportional editing for this one. So I'm going to select this one here, proportional editing, or you can simply turn it off and on by pressing O on the keyboard. Okay. So now once I'm done, I'm going to go and move it down. You can see that now I'm moving the whole hand. I'm going to make sure that I have control over the pivot point by scrolling down with my middle click button, middle mouse, like so. Now I'm going to, with the proportional editing, I'm going to move a couple of vertices up here so you can see it actually how it looks like right now. I'm going to select these and pull them up so to create a palm, Let's select this one, bring it down. Okay, now that we did that, I'm going to add one here and rescale it. So we are going to make a perfect wrist. Then I'm going to grab these vertices up. So it needs to be flat. Now here we have it. So we are just going to move these vertices a little bit outside, and now it looks good. Now I'm going to grab the hand here and I'm going to increase it in size so that it matches the reference image. I'm going to also grab it in going to grab it in a y-axis so you can see where it needs to be. You can see that the size of this finger and the rest of them is a little bit off, so I'm going to rescale them in y-axis. Now they look good. Okay, now that we are done, I'm going to delete the vertices from this part, and I'm going to grab this part more to the x-axis. Now that I got everything there, I'm simply going to rescale these and position them better so they follow the reference image. So I'm going to rescale this part, add one more loop cut here, rescale it in z-axis, grab it in x, rescale it in z-axis, rescale it in x, and move it up. Here we have the hand. The hand is practically done. Here we have a slightly problem, so I'm just simply going to move it down, and voila. Now we are not going to have the same problem anymore. Now that we are done here, I'm going to select these two objects and go to the edit mode. Now when I see it, here I have a 2, 4, 6, 8 vertices. 2, 4, 6, 8. Here I have a lot of vertices that I don't need right now. So what I'm going to do is I am going to make sure that I have the same number of vertices here. So I'm going to delete this vertice. I'm going to join these two together. So now you can see it that we have it on the other side as well. Now I'm going to select this part, right click, loop tools, circle. I'm going to make sure that it is circle, and then I'm going to bridge these two together. You can see here that we need to add a couple of more vertices here. So I'm going to add 4 more vertices, circle them, and we hope that we don't have the problem here. Yeah, we don't. Now I'm going to select it here, circle, bridge. Let's see if we have the same problem. I'm going to rotate it in x-axis, only this one. Rotate it in x-axis. Do we have a problem? I think not. Yeah. So I'm going to rotate it slightly in the x-axis and grab it in y. Let's rotate it a little bit more. So now we don't have any problems. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to bring this one down and rescale it in x-axis. Now what I can do is I can go to a face select all of these faces that I've bridged. I'm going to delete the faces. Then I will go into the X-ray mode, select the 4 faces that I want, fill it in. Then I can fill it all the way in, and I will not have the same problem as I did before. So now the topology is even better. So now I can add one more loop cut here in the center, and let's play around with these. So I'm going to simply move them to the side, and here I will have my model. So the feet, we are going to model exactly the same as our fingers, as our hands. So we are going to be adding a cube, scale it down, grab it in the x-axis, scale it down all the way. Then I am going to go into the X-ray mode without proportional editing. Then I'm going to extrude it outwards and press Shift R to repeat the last thing that I did. And then I'm going to extrude it once, extrude it twice, and extrude it third time. So only these. And they are going to be similar length. And I'm going to add a subdivision surface modifier to them. Let's add additional loop cut in the center. Okay, then I am going to press 3, extrude this feet. I'm going to scale it in y-axis, these as well, so scale them in y-axis, and let's change the pivot point to individual origins to media point, sorry. Then I'm going to rescale it, reshape them, like so. Then we can go to the individual origins, select them, and rescale them up or inside, and we can rescale these so that they look fluffy. Okay, now that we did that, I'm going to bring this up. So now you can see how fluffy it looks like. Also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude this whole part one more time here. And I'm going to select these vertices and grab them in x-axis. Scale them in Y, but let's change the media point. You can see that it looks more like a foot. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to grab these out here, select the rest from the left side, loop tools, circle. I'm going to now delete the faces. This is what I will be left with. I'm also going to add one more loop cut and see how it looks like. Okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm simply going to move these in x-axis and make a heel. Once I did that, I'm going to grab these two up to make it resemble a foot a little even better. Now I'm going to rotate it in z-axis by -90 degrees. Add it right here where the foot is. And now I am going to follow the reference image and pull some of the vertices down, just to make it look even better. So let's select these vertices. Let's press 3, grab them down, grab these down, and let's now bring this up. Make sure that they look nice. So I'm going to add one more loop cut here so that I will be able to do this. Now, once I did that, I'm going to rescale this part here, rescale it even more, and add it here. Now, I'm going to grab it all the way where my model is. I'm going to rescale it in x-axis to make it fit here. Then what I will do is I will now rescale this part, grab it in y-axis, and you can see here that it is a little bit wider, so I will need to move it down. We are going to make sure that they are connected, so we are going to go out of the edit mode, select this part here, the foot, select the top and press Ctrl J. We are going to add it here, and you can see that it is going to be mirrored on the other side automatically. Now, once we are there, you can see here now, let's count these vertices from the bottom: 2, 4, 6, 7, and on the top 2, 4, 6. So here we need to dissolve one, or we can simply move this one out here. Select these two and merge them into center. So M, center. And now you can see that we don't have problems with the topology. So everything is just fine. I'm going to make sure that they are circled. And also let's move these vertices from here. You can see that now they are fine. So what are we going to do next is we are going to select these vertices. Let's fill them in. Let's select this edge and fill the rest. So you can see that we have a problem. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dissolve this edge, and voila. Now we are going to play around with the heel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab it in y-axis, grab this whole part here. Now from the center, I'm going to grab it down. From the front, you can see that the feet are a little bit off. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to select this part here and grab it in x-axis. Now that it is in the x-axis, it looks a little bit straighter than it was before. So I'm going to move these vertices. Let's move these two as well to the x-axis. These two as well, and voila. Also guys, what we can do is we can select these vertices and grab them a little bit up. Then I'm going to select these vertices from here and from here and slightly grab them down. Slightly only. Okay, and scale them in x-axis. Once I did that, now I am going to be able to go to the side. Let's grab these a little bit up as well. And let's select the inner part, rescale them in x-axis. And you can see how it looks like. Only here I will need to rescale it back. So I will scale it in x-axis so that they look rounder. From the bottom it looks like this. The heel is nice. So let's move this part here on the y-axis. I'm going to grab it. And you can see where the heel is. So I'm going to slightly move these back as well. And voila. So we are done modeling the body, guys. Now the next step we can do is the tail. And later on we are going to model the head. So for the tail, I'm going to select these vertices here. I'm going to insert the face, and you can see here that I have the boundary. So what I need to do is I'm going to go here under insert face, and I'm going to turn off boundary. And now I'm going to grab it in x-axis. Let's see. Scale it in Y, rotate it a little bit. Extrude it down. Let's add one more loop cut here. I'm going to rescale it in Z-axis, like so, and bring it down and rotate it. Bring it down, and rescale it down. Let's scale it. Grab it here, rotate this part as well. And now we are going to move these vertices so they are going to follow the reference image better. And also we are going to add one more loop cut here in the center. You can see that the tail is a little bit too wide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these vertices from the side and grab them in x-axis. Like so. Now I'm going to select these vertices and press double G to move it down, to flatten it a little bit. And now let's grab it up here. Let's make it a little bit taller. This part I'm going to move it all the way inside. Let's select it, right click, circle. Make sure that it is circled. These here, we are going to do the same thing. So I'm going to make sure that they are circled. This one we need to rotate. in order for it to be on the right position. Here as well, I'm going to move it inside, add a circle there, and add a circle here as well. Once I'm done, you can see that on the reference image it is a little bit wider, so we are going to do that real quick. Let's grab it in x-axis, grab it down, and voila. Here we have a little bit of a problem, so we are going to make sure that we don't have it there. Let's add one more loop cut here, loop tool circle here as well. We're going to add circle, and we can get rid of this edge. So I just removed it from there. Let's grab these vertices and align them perfectly with the reference image. As well as these, we can move them all the way here inside. These and this one up so that they follow the reference image even better. I'm going to move these vertices and align them perfectly with the reference image. So the reference image is just a guide for us to make sure it looks similar enough. So we are done with the tail, and now in the front orthographic I'm going to save my file to make sure that if Blender crashes, it is going to be saved. So when you model each segment of the body, you will save it, because sometimes Blender can crash, and that is because we save the files. Now guys, that we are done with the body, we are going to focus on the head. So the first thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a cube as we did for the rest of the body, and now I'm going to add a subdivision surface modifier to the cube, increase the number of subdivisions to 2. Now we can start modeling. So I'm going to scale this cube down and move it inside where the neck is. So I'm going to scale it even more. Let's see if it's on the center. Yes, it is. I'm going to rescale it in y-axis and in x-axis, so you can see how it goes well with the reference image. Now I'm going to extrude this part up. First of all, I'm going to add one here, add one more here. Let's see from the side. Let's grab it up. I'm going to add these two here. So this one is going to be the separation between the mouths, and this is going to be the beginning of the nose. Then I'm going to extrude it one more. Let's grab it down. Let's select the top, extrude it up a couple of times. So this is going to be the top where the nose is starting. Now I'm going to extrude this one up as well for the face, and I'm going to add one more loop cut there for the eyes indentation here that we have. So now guys, once we are done, we are going to be adding one more loop cut here in the middle. So let me just go here, turn on the screencast keys. And now once I have this part here, I'm going to delete the left part of the body, of the face in this case, and add a mirror modifier on top of the subdivision. I will allow clipping. And now you can see how it looks like. I'm going to just simply scale this in y-axis, and voila. Now for this side, we are going to move it and make sure that it follows the reference image. So we are going to focus on this part now, on the head shape. Let's follow the reference images as much as possible. So I'm going to make sure that I have it here, here, and let's move these two down, rotate them slightly. Let's grab it outside, grab this one top, voila. Now for the front, I am going to grab these vertices in x-axis, to make sure that they follow the reference image nicely. So I will grab these vertices as well as this one in X. Not all the way. So now guys, I want the cheek. So I'm going to select these vertices here without the bottom. And I'm going to grab them in X-axis. You can see how they look like. So this is going to be the cheek. I'm going to scale it down, grab it all the way here. Now I'm going to add one more loop cut here and scale it in X-axis just to divide it from the head. It's going to be right here. And now I am going to make a nose. So it is going to be the beginning from here. I'm going to right click, add a circle, scale it down, add a couple of vertices. Make sure that they are circled as well. Scale it. Now we are going to focus on the cheek part. So I'm going to grab this one down, move the vertices like so. Now for the bottom lip, we are going to move these vertices on the bottom here, and here I'm going to press V and separate it down. Here we have the mouth area, and also I'm going to move this one up as well. Let's grab the whole face like so. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that it follows the reference image, the nose and the lips. So I'm going to grab it and move it and scale it like so. I'm going to grab it even more up front. Let's grab the bottom lip, select it here, grab it even more. I'm going to select it, extrude and scale inside, and grab it all the way inside. Let's grab it up here, out here. Okay. Let's make sure that we have a little bit of a chin. Awesome. Right click, shade smooth. Let's see how it looks like. Good. Now that we only have this part done, I'm going to move around these vertices and play around just to get the shape that we want. So this is going to be the lip part. I could have added one more loop cut here, but I think that we will not need it right now. So I'm going to grab this one down, and we will have the same smile line as we have it on the reference image. You can see that it is following the reference image really nicely. Only I will have one more loop cut here, and this loop cut will allow me to make him a little bit of a chin here. This loop cut. I'm going to grab these, move them to the side, not F but G. G for grabbing. And voila, right click, shade smooth. Okay, now I'm going to focus on the head. So I'm going to move a couple of vertices. You can see that we have a little bit of a problem here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these vertices as X0. I'm going to flatten them in X-axis, grab them outside, and now I am going to play with the shape of the head by moving these vertices. Okay, we can see that it follows the reference image really nicely. I'm going to only move these vertices from here, and you can see now that we don't have the problem anymore. Okay, I'm going to select these two vertices and grab them in Y-axis a little bit. So that is going to be the cheek, and these parts, this part is going to be the head, the back of the head. I'm going to grab, I can add one more loop cut here in the center. It is going to allow me to make the cheek pop, like so. And now I can move back these vertices from here and make the head shape look more rounder. And let's focus on the nose. I'm going to select the nose here, and I'm going to slightly grab it in the x-axis and scale it in Z without the middle ones. So we only need the side ones. Let's grab them a little bit more in x-axis and scale them down. Voila. Now I am going to select these vertices and grab them slightly inside. Select these vertices and grab them outside. I'm going to scale them in y-axis, in z-axis, and these I'm going to rescale in z-axis as well. Let's rescale them. Voila. So you can see that we have a little bit of a problem here, so I'm going to grab these vertices down. Make sure that they are rounded. Make them go inside. This one outside and these two outside. Let's move these back. They follow the reference image and they look nice. Okay guys, so we are done with the head part. Now we need the ears. So we are going to model the ears by adding the mirror modifier and by decreasing the number of levels in subdivision in viewport and in render. Now we are going to select this area. So let's select the half, delete the half, and add a mirror modifier. Once we have the mirror modifier on, we are going to apply all transforms, and let's open the proportional editing. So let's allow it and grab the cheeks out like so, and let's move the under the chin part a little bit up. Okay, so now what I'm going to do next is also I'm going to rescale it in y-axis a little bit only. Let's move the lips down, and we are going to move the nose as well a little bit only. And now we have much more power than we had before because we have a lot of vertices to work with. I'm going to grab this one down and this one up here as well. Okay, now for the neck part, I am going to add also a circle, and I'm going to scale it down. Let's grab it in x-axis. Clipping is allowed, so I'm just going to rotate it so that it is going to be clipped on the other part, on the other side as well. I'm going to add circle here, scale it down. Now I'm going to rescale it, everything in y-axis. Let's grab it in y-axis like this, because we are going to be adding a collar now. So I'm going to with the shift and D select this part. With P I'm going to separate it, and here I have my collar. So this color is going to be a little bit wider, and I am going to move it like this. Let's select now the top. I'm going to move it down. So let's use the proportional editing, grab it like this. Now select everything, scale it. Here we have it. Now I am going to be adding a solidify modifier to get some thickness to the color. I'm going to put it on top of the subdivision. So this is the subdivision. Let's see. I'm going to increase the number of subdivisions to 2. Shade smooth, and let's play with the thickness of the color. I'm going to add one loop cut here and one loop cut here. Let's rescale it. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Let's scale it in x-axis. Here we have it. I'm going to decrease the solidify modifier a little bit, and let's play with the offset. So I'm going to rescale it. On this side it looks like this, so I'm just going to slightly rotate it, and I'm going to scale it in Y. And you can see now that we don't have any problems. Let's select the under chin. Let's move it back a little bit. Move this part to the front. And voila, here we have the necklace. And now for the head, I'm not going to apply the mirror modifier because we actually had made the subdivision. So we had added the subdivision surface modifier. Only I'm going to select these 3 vertices, these 6 vertices here, and I'm going to start extruding it. So we are going to be making the ears. I'm going to go in the X-ray mode to see better and clearer how it looks like. I'm also going to add 1 loop cut in the center. Let's grab these vertices, align them better, like so. This is the beginning of the ears. I'm going to delete the faces because it is going to be easier for me to extrude it, to select it with the Alt. Now I'm going to rotate this part, extrude, rotate, scale, extrude, and scale inside all the way. Now that I did that, now I am going to only move it and fill it in like so. And voila, here I have the ears. They are a little bit off, so what we are going to do is we are going to select the bottom of the ears and press Ctrl+ to select the whole ear and grab it in Y-axis and rotate it in Z. Voila. Now we can scale it as well a little bit more, play around with the vertices and make sure that they follow the reference image so that we don't have any problems later on. Awesome. And now what we are going to do with the face select, I'm going to select the faces which I want to insert the face. So these here, insert the face, scale it down, and extrude it inside. Now, using the vertex select, I am going to move a couple of vertices, so I will make it a little bit smoother. Now I will select the inside of the ear, like this, and scale it inside. If that doesn't work, I will simply move it around, and voila. Here we have the ears, guys. Now let's create the teeth. So I'm going to add a cube, scale that cube in Y-axis like this, grab it in front, and now we are going to be adding a subdivision surface modifier to the teeth. Now I will add just 1 loop cut on the top, and you can see how it looks right now. So I'm going to just grab it, scale it down, and grab it more down. Okay, so this is going to be 1 tooth, and I am going to try to replicate the reference image. So I'm going to rotate it in Y-axis so you can see that it is a little bit rounded. Now I'm going to scale this down. I'm going to model the second one. Let's grab it in Y-axis, and rotate in Z only a little bit. So from the bottom, you can see that we are going in the half circle way. So once that is done, I'm going to add just one more, scale it all the way down. You can see that we can see it a lot. So what I'm going to do is I am going to select these vertices and grab them down like so. And now I'm going to grab this tooth all the way here, rotate it in Z axis so that it follows this half circle way as the rest. I'm going to grab it here, grab it in X axis, and voila. So I will move this one a little bit to the front, and voila. They are done. Now I'm going to select each one of them, and when I'm at the last one, I'm going to press Ctrl J. So let me turn on the screencast keys. So what I did basically is I selected them, so I can select one, shift, and then select the rest, and press Ctrl J to join them together. Now I'm going to press Ctrl A, all transforms, to apply the location, rotation, and scale, and add the mirror modifier. If I didn't have applied the location, rotation, and scale, let me show you what will happen. So this is way back to the beginning, and if I added a mirror modifier, you can see that the teeth would not be, they will be projected from this point on the right side. So we want to apply the location, rotation, and scale. So Control A, Command A if you're working on Mac, all transforms, and they will be projected to the other side. And let me show you actually what the location means. So for example, here we have different numbers. Also the rotation is different and the scale is different. These numbers need to be 0, 0 and 1. So let me apply it. So location and rotation needs to be 0 and the scale needs to be 1 in order for mirror modifier to work, so that we get two symmetrized sides. So that is why we just have did this. Now I'm going to go to the side and grab the bottom lip a little bit closer to the top, so you can see how it looks like. Awesome. Now we are going to make the eyeballs. So I'm going to be adding a UV sphere, and I'm going to change the number of segments and number of rings. So I just clicked on this segments, and I'm going to type down 16. And I'm going to now click here and change the number to 8. So I'm going to divide the two default numbers with number 2. I'm going to rotate it in X-axis by 90 degrees. Grab it up all the way here, grab it all the way here, and grab it to the X-axis. Let's scale it a little bit more. Okay, now I'm going to go into the edit mode, and I'm going to rotate it so that this pupil is going to go right here where the pupil is. And also what I'm going to do next is I'm going to move it outwards, and I'm going to add one more loop cut in the center. So you can see here now, when let me grab it a little bit in Y-axis and let me show you how it looks like. So you can see it follows the black line perfectly. So that is going to be the eye. I'm going to grab it a little bit in Y-axis, and voila. So we are going to model the head by adding a circle, scaling it down, grabbing it up. Let's scale it all the way here. Now I'm going to rotate it. Let's grab it up here, rescale it a little bit only, like so. And now I will press extrude and scale, extrude, scale, extrude, scale inside. You can see it. Now I will go extrude and scale inside, grab it a little bit up, extrude, scale, extrude, scale all the way down and fill it in. Let's see it from the side how it looks like. Okay, so I'm not going to change the way it looks, only I'm going to bring it down. And also let's add a subdivision surface modifier to it. I'm now going to rescale these points. Let's rescale them. So you can see that I need to scale the whole hat in order for it to follow the reference image, like so. So I'm going to add one more loop cut here to make it rounder, and on the top we can just go here, delete the faces and add the grid fill here, not on the bottom but on the top. Grid fill, let's press 7, play around with these, with the span and the offset. So this is right in the center. I'm going to press 7, select all the vertices, right click, loop tools, circle, double G. Now I'm going to select these and make a perfect circle as well. Right click, circle, double G, so I will not have the problems here. Let's select only the circle, double G, grab it all the way, and voila. Here we can select these two and double J them to the top, here, here, and here. We're not going to have any problems there. And guys, we are done with the modeling. Okay, so one more thing is that we are going to do is his wristband. So I'm just going to duplicate this one, separate it, and I'm going to apply the mirror modifier and delete it from this hand. Let's delete the vertices. Onto this one, I am going to scale it up, grab it in x-axis. Let's add a solidify modifier to it. Make sure that it goes out and rescale it in x-axis. Let's add the thickness. Let's play around with the offset. Okay, and for the lines that we have on the wrist, we can just add 3 lines here and bevel them one by one. So let's add a line, 3 lines. Let's select this one, bevel it. Let's select this one, bevel it, and let's select this one and bevel it. Guys, we are done with the wristband. And on the other side, we can create the watch that he has. So I'm just going to duplicate this one. Let's separate by selection by pressing P. Then I'm going to apply the location, rotation, and scale. Delete from the left side of the body. Set origin to the center of the mass so we can scale it right in the center. And now, once this is done, I am going to rescale it in x-axis, so it looks something like this. I'm going to duplicate this one, separate by selection. I'm going to add 1 loop cut here, 1 loop cut here, select it, and rescale it, or just move it down. Let's grab it in y-axis. So this is going to be the point for the watch. Like so. Let's grab these two and grab them in y-axis and then scale them in x so that they go inside of the watch. Let's rescale these. Let's add 1 more here. Grab it in the x-axis and voila. So onto this one, we want to add a solidify modifier and put it on top of the subdivision so that it looks something like this. We can also select these four vertices and fill them in so that it creates like a circle. Now onto this part, we want to add a solidify modifier as well. Put it on top. Let's make sure that it is not like a wristband. Okay, so this is going to be the beginning of the watch. Here I will apply all transforms. First of all, I will apply solidifier, then I will add a mirror modifier and apply all transforms. Then I will change the axis projection to Y. I will apply it. Then I will select this one. First of all, what I need to do is I will need to move this one in Y-axis so that they don't clip together. Now I can slightly move them. I can grab this one in Y-axis to be on the other side, and I will re-grab this one and grab it in Y-axis. So I will have on both sides this point. Okay, and now what I need is I will add a circle. I will change the number of vertices to 16 because I think that is the number that we want. Now I will add the circle here on the center. Let's press 7, grab it up here, rotate it. Let's now extrude it in Z-axis. We want to fill this in by using grid fill. Let's use the grid fill on the bottom as well. Now I will select the top, only the top vertices on the top faces, and I will press I to insert the faces and extrude it down in Z-axis like this. So we have made a watch. And one thing that our Bitzer has on his watch is like a wheel from the boat. So I'm going to make sure that it has that. I'm going to add a loop cut. Let's add a subdivision surface modifier to it. Let's add a couple of loop cuts like so. And now what I will do is I will select these and circle them, as well as this one. Like so. So I will do that on the other side as well. Or I can simply select this this watch, press Shift S cursor to select it like this. Then I will get rid of this part here. I will now add a mirror modifier, allow clipping, and now I will move this back like so. Is going to be selected, say put. Now I will grab the bottom vertices and grab them down. Press 7, and I will do the same thing here as I did here. So I will make sure that it is circled, scale it down all the way. Let's first of all insert the face, turn off the boundary, circle that. I'm going to rotate it in X-axis, scale it down, grab it in Y, rotate it in X-axis a little bit more. Now press 7, extrude it, circle, scale it down, add one more loop cut here, add a circle there as well, scale it all the way down. And what I will do is I will grab this point outside and add one more loop cut here in the center. Voila. Let's grab these vertices Okay, and what we can do also is we can select the top. Let's add the Y, but on the bottom here. So let's delete the vertices, and here we have it. Now I will grab this point so that it aligns perfectly and it stayed put. Now I'm going to play around with these so that they resemble similar to this point. I'm going to grab this point and grab it all the way in y-axis. Let's grab it. Grab this one as well. And voila. So here we have the wash. I'm not going to do anything else here. I'm just going to pull it down, and we can scale it actually a little bit so that it looks like this. And onto there, I want to apply the mirror modifier. Also save your file before everything. And voila, guys, we are done with the modeling of our Bitzer. Now the next step are the materials. So the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to go to material preview here, and later on we are going to select the second one, delete it, then allow selecting of the first image here. Let me just turn on the screencast keys. So now I'm going to enable selecting and move it to the side. Now that it is on the side, we are going to apply some of the materials. So the first part that I'm going to do is I'm going to make his skin. So I will go here under materials, material properties, move this up and change it to shader editor. Now we are going to add a new material. And you can see here the nodes. So to manipulate with the nodes, you must have this use nodes and also enable the node wrangler add-on. So just go under edit preferences, type down here node and enable this node wrangler. Now that we have it here, I am going to select the color of his skin. So it is going to be something in between orange and red on this side. Let's make it a little bit more darker, like so. Now that we have that there, we are going to make his skin look more like a clay that the stop motion that they use for stop motion. So what we are going to do, we are going to be adding image texture. Onto image texture, we are going to add the mapping and texture coordinate by clicking on the image texture and pressing Ctrl T. Then once we have this here, we are going to be opening the texture of the fingerprints that I found it on internet here. And now once I add the color to roughness, you can see that we cannot see anything. So what I will do is I will add a color ramp here. And now these the black points, the black point is actually adding the shininess to the object, and the white point is making it like less. So what we are going to do is we are going to move this down, the white, and we want to make the black one to change its color and make it a little bit less black. So I think that the gray should work. And also what we can do is we can unwrap the model. So now you can see the fingerprints here on the model as well. So what I'm going to do is I am going to make this color a little bit more white, like so. Let's see it. Now I'm going to move this all the way back. Let's make it even lighter, like so. And also it is not going to work because the color space here is RGB and we want it to be non-color. And now you can see the fingerprints more. Also, what we can do is we are now going to add a bump node just to see clear these indentation that we have for the fingerprints. So what I'm going to do is I will press Shift A, bump node. I will add it here. I will add normal to normal. And also I will make sure that the color is right here in the normal, but it's not going to work. So what we are going to do is we are going to invert this part. So I'm going to disable this one, add an invert. Let's move the bump node down and add color to color, and then I'm going to add color to height because we want to manipulate the height, and you can see it right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the strength to 0.5, and here the strength I want to lower it down all the way. So if I zoom in, you can actually see the strength of the fingerprints. So I'm going to lower it down all the way down here, and you can see it. I'm also going to play around with this part, so I will make it a little bit lighter at this point because it looks too shiny. And what else you can do to see it clearer, to see it better, you can move the location of the map, and you can change it so you can see the fingerprints better. So now it looks like a stop motion one. I'm going to move it a little bit more, and voila, you can see it here as well. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the same material to the head. Let's unwrap the head as well, and you can see the small fingerprints here. So if I go to the render settings, so to render view, and I am going to add an HDRI real quick just to see how it looks like. Let's go to the world settings. Here under background, I'm going to press Ctrl T to enable me the image texture. I'm going to open the file, so I'm going to add HDRI, whichever HDRI you add, it's okay. And also I am going to go to the cycles render engine just to see how it looks like. Awesome. Okay, so now I will change to object. Let's go down here. Let's just check these. Okay, we're not going to play around with that anymore. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go to material settings. Then onto here, I will go and add the black material. So these points, all of these points needs to be black. So what I'm going to do is here under material settings, I'm going to add a new material on which I'm going to add this material, and I'm going to duplicate it. So here I'm going to duplicate it and just move it down and assign that material. So you can see now it is black, but it is still the same material as we have it on the head. So I'm going to add it here, assign it. Okay, let's change it to vertices select. It's not going to work in this edge select because we are only selecting edges, and in between we did not select the faces, and that's why it didn't work. But for now, if I change it to vertex select, I can be able to add it there. So we added the nodes. Here you can see it. We can move it a little bit, so I'm going to go here under material and onto this black material, and I'm going to change the X position. Let's change the Y position. So the Z position we're not going to change. Let's only change the location. And this one is nice. Okay. Let's make sure it is a little bit more shiny. Okay, so now we onto the eyes. We are going to add the same material, same procedure goes to this one as for the last one. So we are going to add this material, duplicate it, and make it white. Then let's make it white. So I will go to I will go to the RGB and increase all of these to make it white. Then I'm going to select this middle one and press Ctrl plus 2 times, add a new material, which is going to be this black one, and assign it. So here we have the eyes are done, and for the ears go the same. So I will select this one and press Ctrl plus to select the whole ear. Then I will add a new material, which is going to be this one, duplicate it, and make sure that it is brown. So I'm going to assign it just to see it how it looks like. So I'm going to go more on the red side. Let's find it. Okay, this one, it looks nice. And onto these two here, I will add a different material. So here and here, so let me add a plus, and I will add it up to here. Then if I want, I can add another material, another loop cut that goes inside, and you can see how it looks like. So here I am going to add this material, and you can see now it looks much better. Now also what I can do is I can move these vertices on the x-axis like so that I cannot see this part. I'm going to go and select the face select, assign it there, and let's add one more loop cut here. Once I added it, I'm going to scale it down. Let's grab it more on the top, and let's grab it in y-axis to make the ears fluffier. Also, this one here, I'm going to dissolve the edges so that I don't have that problem there, as well as here. I'm going to dissolve this edge as well. Okay, now we have like fluffy ears. Okay, we are done with that. Onto the necklace that he has. So I'm going to add the same material as I did add for the eyes and the rest of the black spots, this one here. So I am going to make this lighter, not there, but on the black material. Let's make it lighter. I don't want it to be so reflective, so this is going to be nice. And also his nose is not all the way black, it's more of this color. So the bracelet here that he has is going to be white, so I'm going to add the white material. Then I'm going to press plus, add this material and duplicate it. Then I am going to change it to blue, to this blue, like navy blue. Then I'm going to select the faces, and I'm going to box select these rows, which need to be blue. Okay, it is done. And onto the watch itself, I'm going to add a grayish material to the top here. For the bracelet of his watch, I'm going to add a brown material, and also it is going to be the same material as the hands and everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the hex number, duplicate it with Control C. Then I am going to add this material, duplicate it, and do the same thing as I did, just I'm going to paste it here, so you can see how it looks like. Here I will add the same material as I have for the bracelet. This one. And for this material, I am simply going to get rid of it, add the orange material. Then I am going to duplicate it and make sure that it is gray. I'm going to pull it down and voila. Now for the head, I am going to be adding a new material on which I am going to add a Voronoi texture. Then onto this texture, I am going to add a color ramp. I'm going to make sure that they are connected. So I'm going to add distance to factor and color to base color. Now you cannot see it clear, but yeah, we are going to make sure to move it a lot. So what I'm going to do is let's add a color to factor. Yeah. Then I'm going to turn up the scale all the way so you can see how it looks. Actually, this material is wool, but we are not going to make a wool. We are just going to make it like this color. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to add one more material here in the middle. This one is going to be all the way blue, all the way like green blue. This one is going to be blue, and this one is going to be like dark blue. Okay, you can see how it looks here. So we need less of the green. So let's make sure that it is here. I'm going to move these two. Let's make this material a little bit lighter, the middle one. This one darker. Let's see. Nice. So I will leave it as it is right now. Onto the teeth, we are going to be adding the material that we added to the eyes. And this one here, this part, I am going to move a little bit more inside. So I'm going to grab it, only these. I'm going to grab it inside, like so. And you now can see how the character looks like. We are going to delete this one and we are ready to prepare it for our final render. Guys, right now we are going to pose our character. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go out of the render mode to object mode or to material preview, it doesn't matter. Now I'm going to select the body. Then I will not go into the edit mode now. Let me just turn on the screen cascades. So I will select the bracelet and I will select the watch. Now I will go to edit mode. Then I will move this down all the way to here. Then I will select this one, move it down, rotate it a little bit. Then I will select the top, rotate it and scale it down. So this is going to be the shoulders. Then I'm going to move this one a little bit more down and rotate it a little bit more. Move it all the way to the side. Let's scale the shoulders a little bit more. Let's see it on the side, how it looks like. Okay, and I'm going to scale this one as well because now I can see the fold here, so that should be the armpit. Then I am going to slightly move this part all the way down. So I'm working with the X-ray mode on because I really don't want it to be only one side. So I'm going to move the rest. Let me rotate. Now I'm going to select this one and move it inside. I'm going to go to the side, add one more loop cut and grab it to the x-axis, to the y-axis. Let's rotate this one and move it to the y-axis. And this is going to be it. Okay, so now that I have that done there, I'm going to rescale this one in x-axis, rotate it a little bit more. Let's scale it in y to make like a muscle. there. Also here we can do it as well. So I'm going to just scale it in y-axis. Now that is there, I'm now going to select the hands and I'm going to get rid of these vertices here. So I'm going to dissolve the edges. Then I'm going to select the first vertice on each finger of these. Press Control plus 2 times and grab it up a bit because his fingers are a little bit less long. So I'm going to move it like that and now it looks just fine. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the thumb all the way. So I'm going to select this one and press Control plus all the way up. I'm going to rotate it in Z axis, grab it in X. So I will make it a little bit like so that it's curved. Then I'm going to select this finger. I'm going to select it all the way, rotate it and grab it in X axis. Once I did that, it should look something like this. And this part is not done, so I'm going to go into the edit mode, select it, rotate it, and I'm going to grab it right here on the arm where it was before. So I'm going to go 3 and then 9. I'm going to rotate it and put it right where it needs to be. Voila. Let's select the arms and this vertice here where the elbow is. So this should be the elbow. This part I am going to go to the back, so 1 and back, and I'm going to grab it more in X axis a little bit only, so you can see how the hands are going to go. Voila. And also what I'm going to do next is I'm going to select the head, the teeth, the eyes and the head. I'm going to go into the edit mode and I'm going to rotate it a little bit. But first of all, I need to apply the mirror modifier to the head. So I'm going to apply it. Then I will select the teeth, the eyes and the head and the collar as well. And I'm going to rotate it a little bit only. So this is going to be the this pose. Then I'm going to convert this, I'm going to move back the 3D cursor with Shift C to the center. And now once I'm done, I'm going to save the file. Then I will add a plane, scale it up the plane. Then I'm going to select these 2 vertices on the back of the Bitzer, extrude it up like so, select the bottom and bevel it with Control B. Then I'm going to increase the number of loops, the number of subdivisions with my middle click button. So I'm going to go just up with my middle click button. Then I will go out of edit mode and right click shade smooth. This is going to be the final. Then I will add a camera, press 0 with Shift and the key right on top of the tab key. I am going to now be able to move it with the moving button on the keyboard. So those are, we can do it with the arrows on the keyboard. So I will zoom out, zoom in with the top and down, move right and left with the right and left arrow. Then I will press Q to go down and E to go up. So make sure to know that. So this grave like Shift and this key. So I'm going to zoom out, go up with E, zoom out, go down with Q. This is going to be in the center. So let me go to the camera settings. This is perspective mode. I will now go to layer output properties and to output properties, and then I will change the resolution to 1080. So I will make a cube. Then I will zoom in on our Bitzer. let me go and make sure that he's in the center. I'm going to zoom in like so. Here we have him. And also let me just add one more subdivision to him so that these points are really smooth. I'm not going to apply the subdivision surface modifier yet. So this is going to be our render. He's in the center. Now for the render properties, I'm going to change it to cycles as I did before. So it is going to stay to cycles, then turn on the denoise in render. Scroll down and into the color management, we have this look. We can choose which look we want, so medium high contrast, whatever you want. I really like the medium high contrast, I think. So let me see how the medium high contrast will be enough for this one. Then in the output properties, we are going to change it to resolution to 1080 by 1080. Then scroll down, file format as PNG, JPEG as you wish. Then I am going to go to, so that is it. Under layer output properties, I'm going to save it to the file which I want to save it. And guys. So guys, you have reached the end of the video. I hope that you enjoyed this course, and for more content like this, subscribe to our channel and check out our online academy at rendercraft.com with over 80 courses inside about Blender. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave them in the comment section down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!